Hey guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Today I'm going to be looking at some older figures in my collection, and I'm actually shocked I haven't showcased them before because they're actually kick-ass. They are from the Robert Rodriguez adaptation of Frank Miller's Sin City comic, Sin City, obviously. These are some very early NECA figures, and you'll see why in a minute. And they are Marv and Gail. Marv in the movie was played by Mickey Rourke, and Gail was played by the absolutely gorgeous Rosario Dawson. And these figures kick absolute arse. I've had them in my collection for a very long time. I actually done a bit of a cleanup on them. I noticed they'd gathered dust and grime. So while I had them out and while I was cleaning them, I was thinking, I don't think I've ever showcased these figures before. So I've decided to do a video showing these two guys off. So first off, let's have a look at Marv. And the figure itself is pretty kick-ass. The sculpt NECA does for Marv is amazing. In the movie, to get the character more comic book accurate, Rodriguez hired K&B Effects. That's the guys behind Evil Dead and 2010's Predators to do prosthetics for the actor Mickey Rourke to make him look more like Marv. In the comic, if you haven't read the comic, Marv is essentially this big hulking behemoth of a bouncer who, despite being incredibly bloodthirsty, has a heart of gold, and it kind of takes him on a trail of vengeance against his lover Goldie. But watch the movie. Watch the movie. This sculpt is fantastic. The sculpt for the figure is amazing. Just the level of detail, the bandages. Like, even though it is obviously Marv, the character Marv, there is some elements like the eyes and stuff that you can tell, yeah, that's Mickey Rourke's eyes and such. Just the plasters. These figures came in two variations, the black and white and the coloured. And there's something about the coloured that I just don't like. The black and white, obviously the movie itself, Rodriguez shot the movie to match with the comics. It's in black and white. And it just suits the figures way more as well. I don't know why they made the color versions, because it just seems like a waste of time. But yeah, again, really nice detail in the sculpting on the face, the chin, the bandages, the plasters going down, even the jacket, the kind of tear on the leather jacket, because Marv goes through a number of leather jackets and coats through his mission for vengeance.
Take it off. What? Fine coat like that, and you're bleeding all over it. All right, it's all yours.
And yeah, he acquires some of them, and some of them end up more worse to wear, but he always gets a new one as the movie progresses. But yeah, again, look at the level of detail here, just on the belt there as well. That's like the belt and the loop through there, and like you wouldn't even have to have put in the holes, the notches, but they did, and it's just really nice detail. And the pants and the buckle, the vest, the cross, and the big army boots. But yeah, again, the only drawback to this figure, guys, is it is one of the early NECA figures. So there is articulation in the arms to a point. The arms can kind of go up, arms can kind of go down. There's no ball joints in the arms. It's just a swivel kind of joint from left to right. Same with the hands. And the hands actually have a very soft kind of plastic. Even the fist is a more soft rubbery material. So there isn't much articulation. And as you can see, there's a big fucking chunk sticking out there when you rotate it. The head has a bit better rotation, actually. I think the head has better rotation than most modern figures. I like it because you can do a bit of posing with the head, but the drawback is obviously the arms and the legs. There's no hip movement here. There's a bit of a swivel in the waist, but not much. And you can move the leg like this to kind of position him. But again, this is an early NECA figure, so articulation wise, these guys weren't kind of burdened or laden with too much articulation. But it's still a nice figure. It's still a cool kind of posable figure. Hang on. I'll zoom in. Again, I just love the face sculpt. Because obviously they've captured the look of the character from the movie, but you can kind of get, yeah, this is Mickey Rourke in that, and it's just, he's pretty cool. As far as accessories go with Marv, Marv came with 4 accessories, and I will show you what they are now. I'm going to show you the first accessory is his pistol, which he nicknames Gladys. And again, it's really nice sculpting. I mean, that's cool. That's really cool sculpting on that. Just, and I've used this with other figures, despite it being kind of obviously silver and black to go with the black and white motif. I've used this with my Punisher figure. I've used it with a couple other figures. It's an absolutely beautiful sculpt. Just the handle as well. It's really nice. You can even see the button for ejecting the clip at the bottom there. It's a gorgeous kind of sculpt on it. Obviously, because it's older, it doesn't have any kind of plug or anything that you can put a blast effect, but still gorgeous, gorgeous look on it. And it fits into his hand, whereas most NECA figures, it's kind of a struggle to fit into his hand. They made it chunky, but the fact that the hand is kind of rubbery did kind of help make it fit, and it does. It looks the business while he's holding it. There are some other accessories that he has that don't really work in his hand because the palm is a bit too wide, and I'll show you them now. So the other weapons he comes with is this little kind of hatchet. If I'm not mistaken, I think he uses it to split the head of a SWAT cop in half in the movie, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he cracks a dude open in the head with this, and it just, yeah, see, it's the handle is just too small for the hand. He can't really grip it that well. Like, you could probably move the hand about a bit, but it's much too small. And again, the sculpting on it is nice though. Like, just it looks like it's been through the wringer. Like, there's a section of metal just worn down here, and the blade and the handle. It looks the business. It's just the handle is too small for the figure itself. He also came with this can of gas. If I'm not mistaken, he lights a can of gas and throws it into Kevin's kind of shack. Kevin is this kind of cannibalistic serial killer played by Elijah Wood. And he's dispatched by Marv in a rather grisly way. But yeah, he came with this can of gas as well. And just, so can Marv hold that at least? He can kind of hold it, yeah. It's not the most dynamic accessory, but at least he can hold it, you know. And lastly, Marv comes with this is a hacksaw. Now guys, as you know, I am always shooting kind of photo photography and putting blood and stuff, and I fucked this up by putting too much fake blood in it. It might add to it, but it just came plain silver. It did not come red. That was my kind of arseholery, messing around with the tin too much and not cleaning it. I've learned now to make sure to clean off blood, because fake blood can really fuck up a figure or a figure's accessories. This one kind of fits into his hand a bit better than the axe. Not by much, but can kind of fit in. But yeah, it's a cool accessory, and like the pistol and the axe and the gas can, I've used this with other figures, and other figures have hands that grab this a lot better. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, you can see the kind of blade where the blade connects, and the little kind of screw, the little butterfly screw that's at the end of the hacksaw blade to keep it in. It's nice. Um, I think in some ways it's cool the blood is on it, but I really should have cleaned this. But it's pretty cool. Again, Marv, really cool figure. Like this figure, kicks arse. And yeah, he is the highlight of Sin City. Mickey Rourke fucking kicked ass as that character. I think Rourke was born to play Marv in Sin City. And yeah, he's pretty badass. The other character I have is the gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous Gail, played by Rosario Dawson. Gail is the head of a kind of, dare I say, community or union of hookers in Old Town, and she kind of lays down the law, her and Miho, and they make sure the other girls aren't hurt. And yeah, she is absolutely badass in this movie. She doesn't have as big a role in the first movie. No, I tell a lie, she does. She does, because when she's with Clive Owen's Dwight, she kind of has to step up. But I think she has maybe a bit bigger of a role in the second one. I think the second movie is called A Dame to Kill For. Josh Brolin plays Dwight in that one because he gets plastic surgery and ends up looking like Clive Owen. And I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Ava Green are in the second one. But the first one's still better in my opinion. But yeah, again, Gail, gorgeous sculpt, limited, very limited articulation. The head has free range of movement, nice sculpted on it. Again, the face is just, they really captured the actress Rosario Dawson really well. Because again, it's just a really nice head sculpt. But yeah, she's kind of got this kind of dominatrix, bondage, fetish wear kind of gear going on. And yeah, she's got the gloves. She's got this kind of fetish gear. She's got these high heel kind of bondage shoes. There's a story with the heels I'll get into. But it's a really nice kind of, it's a really nice figure. There is some flaw with the paint, but I think that might have been my fault because I remember trying to clean these using chemicals, and I may have fucked up in a regard. This was when I had just started collecting. I tried using chemicals to clean off dust and grime and stuff. One thing I'll tell you guys is if you're ever cleaning action figures, warm water, warm soapy water. You don't need anything fancy, and make sure that there is more of a water content in the kind of soapy mixture than say the likes of washing up liquid, because most things, most stuff, kind of washing up liquid and stuff has a very low acid content. That's why it doesn't kind of hurt our fingers or anything, but there is an acid content that can fuck with paint. So just always keep it heavily diluted. But I digress. Back to the figure. Again, really nice detailing. Really gorgeous detailing. The studding, that studding on her kind of, her boots, high heel shoes, I don't know what they call them. The gloves, really nice. This kind of, all this gear. This perplexed me. I don't know what this is for, because she comes with two accessories and none of them really fit. Well, one of them can kind of fit, and I'll show you how. But like with Marv, Gail has very limited articulation. So the head moves side to side, wee bit up, can look down, side that way. Arms have actually less articulation than Marv, so they can go forward and they can go back like that. But in the ways of like shoulder movement, absolutely none, just forward. The kind of elbow movement is maybe a bit of rotation, not too much. This one has a bit of rotation as well, and there is a teeny tiny bit of old school wrist movement. Again, no ball joints, just kind of screwed wrist movement. Legs movement in the legs is essentially non-existent. The only kind of thing you might get is the ankles here, which don't really make any bloody sense. They don't. They move that way, but like when you take them out, they don't really. It looks shit. So you kind of have to keep them in the one direction. I mean, again, there's no kind of hip movement or stuff like that. Also, in case anyone's wondering, I'm not using this as an opportunity to feel up my action figures. I can do that when the camera's off. Anyway, back to Gail. Again, kick-ass figure. Just, she's really let down, even more so in articulation than Marv. I like these figures, they kick arse, but again, they are the earlier NECA line, so NECA were just getting on their feet and they didn't really have the same level of kind of sculpts that had articulation as they do now. The figures came with 2 accessories, and one of them is kind of broken. So Gail's signature weapon is an Uzi, and I used to try and get the finger into the trigger a lot, and as a result, I bust off the trigger guard, but it still fits in her hand, nice and snug. Can fit in, no bother like that. And Gail's ready to lay down the law in Old Town. Just have a kind of closer look at the sculpt on it, because it is a nice sculpt. Again, there are a lot of detail. You have the stock pushed in. You have the kind of charging, the cocking mechanism at the top. Dun, dun, dun. There's the clip ejector at the bottom there. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So that little button there at the back, that's for ejecting the clip. Flip it over to this side. Again, really nice detailing. It's nicely detailed, and it goes with Gail really well, because as I said, that's her signature weapon. She was always packing an Uzi in both the movie and the comics. Try and line it up right. Again, I really did screw the pooch by breaking the trigger guard, but you know, I've had them a while. The other accessory she comes with is these. These are handcuffs, and in case you're wondering, they do not open. But there's nice detailing on them. The screws and such forth. I've kind of messed around with them and stuff, and like the hacksaw, blood has gotten on them, but they're still decent. I remember one of them did crack open and come off, so I glued it in. So it is an imperfect nick, but bar that, the chain has never broken, and I've always kind of minded them. As far as where the fuck these go in the figure, there is a little like loop here on the figure. I don't know if you can see that. They can't fit in there. They can't fit in there exactly, but the loop can come up like that. What I'd used to do is I'd put it under the loop and use Gail's actual hand to hold them in place. Again, that loop, I do not know what purpose that serves. Was she supposed to come with another accessory? Maybe a whip? Maybe something? I don't know. But yeah, that's how I kind of had them on her. And I would always have her like standing ready just to kind of show guys not to fuck with her, or her ladies. But yeah, again, it's a gorgeous figure. The other literal, and I do mean literal, Achilles heel of the figure though, was the fucking high heels. Because the heels were supposed to go into the stand. It was 2 little notches that the heels went into. And as a result, the heels were so thin, they broke. Like a real high heel that some poor woman gets trapped in a grate. They fucking broke off, and as a result, I could not stand her properly. So I either used to prop her against Marv, so they look kind of cool as a set, or I used to use a clamp stand. But yeah, again, that was the one drawback, that the fucking heel was used. A teeny tiny narrow heel was used to hold this figure. Now she's not heavy. Again, she's not heavy. She is a nice dainty figure, but as plastic goes, a kind of a millimeter, less than millimeter thick kind of piece of plastic is not going to hold this figure up. But yeah, she's still a gorgeous looking figure. Articulation wise is really where she gets let down, and her literal Achilles heel is really what fucks this figure over. But yeah, guys, I'm going to do a size comparison with her and Marv and a contemporary NECA figure, so don't go anywhere. I shall be right back. And we are back, and there is Gail standing up in my alleyway. And I'm going to put Marv next to her. Hopefully he'll stand now. My diorama is not the best when it comes to balancing. So there is the two of them. And again, they look really well. They look kind of nice together. I think the best thing to do when shooting these is to shoot them in black and white though, because it really makes them pop. As far as how they scale up with NECA figures, contemporary NECA figures, let's have a look at a kind of recent NECA figure I got. And I'm going to put Joel next to him and see. Yeah, and that scales up really well. That's pretty cool. Yeah, these kick arse. They absolutely kick arse. And yeah, I particularly love Marv. This wasn't the first Marv action figure you could get though. I remember there was a figure that actually got banned. It was Marv in the electrical chair, and I think the Association of Parents of America actually got that figure banned. He was basically a figure that was sat in an electric chair, and when you press a button, he got electrocuted. It's taken directly from a panel in the comic. I would love to have got him. But yeah, there was a whole range of them. There was Hartigan, there was Nancy, there was Shelley, there was Manute, there was That Yellow Bastard. There was a whole bunch of figures. I would love to have gotten my hands on either Shelley or That Yellow Bastard. I thought they were cool. But yeah, these kick arse, and if I was to get any more of them, they would have definitely been the black and white line. Because again, the coloured ones, while they looked kind of cool, there was just something about them being in the kind of chroma key black and white that really helped. But yeah, guys, have you seen the Sin City movie? What did you think of it? What did you think of the second one? And if you could own an action figure of any of the characters from Sin City, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.